Croeso and all, welcome back to Fearless in Devotion, the Wrexham AFC podcast, sponsored by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant. I think I called it the Bar and Kitchen a couple of weeks ago, which
You could
was
you could do that. I went there yesterday.
there is
So
a kitchen there.
yeah, four of my mates went there yesterday. There was so much food on that table. Uh, Bolton Joey, had a rack of ribs, which I don't even think it was from a cow
Wow.
or a pig actually, because it just looked like it was. You know, with the start of the Flintstones, where he puts that massive rack of ribs on the car and it just sort of falls over. It looked like that. It was
Okay.
a huge amount of food. We had a
What did
starter.
what did
We had
Scottish
a
Pete have?
starter. Scottish Pete wasn't there.
Okay.
So it was Joey, his mate Nick, and
Where's
Chris
Nick
Maxwell,
from?
Bolton. So it was two Bolton lads, me and Chris. I actually gave my so yesterday I went to the temporary cop for the first time. I thought it was absolutely brilliant view, like
Mm.
great just to be back there. Tim, have you been there? It's just so good. It's like nostalgic, isn't it, to watch a game like that?
I've not watched the game from there yet, because I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I've been on it, and the views are amazing. And you got very, very fortunate yesterday with the weather because it was
Yeah,
lovely. It was like early spring, summer, wasn't
spring.
it?
Yeah.
Mm.
But it was great. The fan park, it was all right. I just didn't. It definitely wasn't worth a tenner. But I suppose the queues for a beer wouldn't have been so harsh if it had been a tenner. If you know what I mean.
It's still not worth a
Mm.
tenner. End of story.
It's not.
It's not
It's
worth a
not worth
tenner.
a tenner. It's not
No,
worth
it's
a
not.
tenner. Absolutely not. I mean, there was some all right stuff there. The queues were pretty big, and it's just not worth that money.
Yeah, and you've always said
Anyway,
that.
I've always said.
Um, yeah. Tell us, Andy, about your newsletter again. Plug us because you're gonna, in fact, what you're going to do is you're going to give us a walking tour, kind of, or scrolling tour through the
Yeah.
newsletter. Take it
Yeah,
away.
so there's the QR code. This is what you get from the newsletter. I'm just going to sort of quickly show you. So we sort of go through the various matches. We sort of say what it means. We have a few sort of asides. This is Tim about why he hates Wembley. We have a few polls. This is me um, talking about Mansfield, and then what would Phil Parkinson's McDonald's order be? We've asked AI how long Andy Cannon will be out for, and there's actually some pretty good answers there.
you've asked AI.
Okay,
That
fair enough. All right, okay.
you
I'm
should.
always,
You should.
I'm
You
always on
really
about
should.
the content.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have asked AI.
All right, or
I know.
maybe I
I
should.
know.
All right.
I know we're trying to sell it, but yeah, that's not a good example.
Okay. Well, also we've got Tommy Kaus as the fan of the week. We've got a few whispers, and we've got a few did you knows. So I think it's pretty good value for what we're charging for it, which is £15 for the first year.
And
Um,
we haven't been sued by the club yet, so everything in there must be legit, true, and factually correct.
oh, they just haven't seen it. There's
No,
probably that
so
as well.
yeah, so yeah, so anybody at the club wants to sign up, please do. It's 15 quid. We need about 30, 40 more, really, give or take. So sign up for your mates, get them a nice early birthday present, Christmas present, whatever. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, and whoever becomes a milestone subscriber will give them a prize.
What
Ooh.
milestone subscriber?
It will be 500 people, which I
Well,
think
hey,
I think is all right. That's
very
okay.
good.
Yeah.
It'll be a clipping of Andrew Gilpin's hair as he attempts to grow it out in a Stephen Fletcher man bun style.
I reckon I've got one last chance to grow my hair. So I'm going to.
Please grow it. I look
Right.
ridiculous.
So
I'll show
this
you a
is what
picture
I'm
next
doing.
week.
So
When I grew
I'm growing my hair at the moment. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
when when I grew mine out, I looked across between Jennifer Aniston and Iggy Pop, who obviously are identical anyway. You know, it was given the age process, but I'll flag that picture up for next week. It's on my
Great.
phone, and I'm on my phone. So
Good
anyway,
stuff.
let's get back to the agenda.
Let's get back to the agenda. Liam, thank you for joining us. Liam joins Andy and Tim. Andy, let's talk about the game on the weekend. How are we feeling about it? Because Wycombe lost. I mean, are we too upset that we've only gained a point?
No, I mean, if you'd have said a couple of seasons ago, right, you're only going to draw 0-0 with Bolton twice in a season, and you'll be upset about it, you'll probably go, well, that's nuts. So I'm not annoyed. I think it was a chance missed. I think we missed some brilliant chances. I think Sam Smith missed a few great chances. I think the first one that came across to him, he just needs to you know what? He actually had time to take 2 touches on it. There was so like not anyone around him. The second one, he's really powered his neck muscles into that, and I don't understand why. I suppose you sort of, when you've got a split-second decision like that, you either head it into the ground or you try and head it straight in, like a deflect it into the top of the net. And you head it into the ground if the keeper's there, because it gives you better chance to get it in the net. But the keeper wasn't there, and I don't know if he realised that. But I felt a bit sorry for him because I thought he had a really good game, and I think we lost our way a little bit when we took him off. And I think the substitutions is something we probably need to talk about a little bit more, and I think we'll come into that. But you know what? It's one of those days, but it's not a bad day for us because we actually got a point back on Wycombe. And I think even though Stockport and Huddersfield lost, we've got to play those two, and it's in our hands. So it's up to us. Put it this way, Reese, right? If we play like that for the rest of the season, we'll win more than we lose.
Stockport won, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, you just said they lost. I was like, I thought they won.
No, sorry. Huddersfield and Stockport won. Sorry if I missed.
Sam Smith obviously taken off at 78 minutes, as you mentioned. You know, do you think he'll have been turning to the gaffer and be saying, "Gaffer, why didn't you stay with me?"
You asking me?
Yeah, I was making a Sam Smith song joke and no one got it, but that's fine. We'll carry on. Tim, what did you make of the game?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it kind of showed the caliber of this league at the top end of it. And yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, the obvious chance for me was Tom O'Connor blazing over from like 4 yards under the crossbar.
So you were closer to that than I was. Was it a gilt-edged chance?
It was, but ultimately the bounce of the ball deceived him. Oh, he had to take it fairly quick. But you can't miss chances like that. It was just keep it low. He got under the ball instead of over it, and the bounce is just taking it away from everything. That's what's floored him in the end. But you know, just echo what everybody else is saying. As Schumacher's come in, he's sort of led into some decent victories. And ultimately, it was all about, defenses cancelled each other out. I thought it was a really, really good game. I thought it was encouraging from us, given recent performances, and especially bouncing back after Wednesday. It was very, very important because those players let him down, let Parkinson down on Wednesday, even himself maybe. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the very rare occasions where you come away from a 0-0 thinking that was enjoyable, that was good. It was good atmosphere, the weather was nice, everything about it was great. It just lacked that little bit of composure to get over the line. And yeah, we will discuss the subs and the reaction to the subs, which I got a massive bee in my bonnet about. And I should apologise to my mate Sammy for ripping her head off about it when she asked as well. So
Tim, tell us now, what was your bee in the bonnet about the subs?
I think there's been a bit of OCD about our home record. And because that's kind of been derailed now with the Stevenage defeat, Leyton Orient, Peterborough.
Well, 1 point in 9, mate.
Yeah. But I think that it created some sort of OCD about, we must win every game at home. We must get this proud home record. It was never going to last. The fact it's lasted as long as it did, or has been as good as it has been, is amazing. So I think it was a massive amount of frustration that poured out of people when they saw Longman, quite rightly voted man of the match, was subbed, right? 17 minutes, he ran himself into the ground. His heat map must have been through the roof. And people booed that decision to take him off. And I was like, at what point have people lost what the concept of a substitution is all about? This was, you're bringing on a player who's got the most assists in the division. Yes, he's had a bit of a dip in form, but you have to back the manager to make these decisions at these key times. Longman, just before he got taken off, I could see he was cramping up. He was cramping up because of how hard he'd run. So the correct decision is to take him off. Then they booed Parkinson to bring Rathbone off. As good as Rathbone has been, it wasn't his best performance.
I thought he was the pick of the midfield. I'm going to be honest.
But weirdly, some of his crosses were so good; they were too good for the strikers. He put a couple that had that much whip on them that they were almost too good for the strikers to get onto the end of. It was mad. But I don't know. I just ultimately Phil Parkinson's the manager. He knows more about management than any of us will ever know, right? Or ever attest to know. So I just think it was a bit off, and it was a little bit. We're getting a little bit entitled now, where we're booing substitutions when there's 15, 20 minutes left, and he wants to put fresh legs on that are needed to go out and try and win this game, a game that we should have deserved to win it, really. So I don't get it, and maybe it's just because of that the effect that Longman had on that game. He was so good.
He was good.
And people are getting a little bit tetchy about, oh well, whoever comes on isn't going to make the same impact. You've got to have faith in that squad. A lot of players have played themselves out of form in recent weeks and months, but you can't tell me that bringing on Barnett and Elliot Lee is a bad move or a bad decision. I found it baffling. I found it baffling, and the enormity of the booing to it when we're 0-0 in a very good game against an improving Bolton side. I just found it scandalous. It was the first time I've ever really been embarrassed a little bit to be in and around that. And I just thought it was uncalled for.
Wow. Fair play. Liam, you haven't spoken yet. What did you make of the booing? Do you agree?
I love booing, but only on the right occasions. No, it's I think that word entitlement is something that has crept in. Like the fair play yesterday, the atmosphere was actually pretty decent. I thought the crowd made a good noise, got behind the lads, and it sort of transferred onto the pitch as well. But if we're totally honest, in recent weeks, months, it's been flat as a Shrove Tuesday pancake. So I just think we need just people's expectations. It's weird because before the start of the season, so everyone's saying, I'd be happy with mid-table. I'd be happy with mid-table. I'd be happy with mid-table. Then we get up to third in the league, and then all of a sudden, when we drop the occasional point, it's not good enough. And it just those two things don't really. I mean, I don't think it's the entire fan base, but especially the at home games, there's just that noticeable vocal. I'll call them a minority for the sake of it. People might disagree, but you just you get the old whingers with pass it forward. There's a lot of that goes on in PG2. So I just wish people would just enjoy it, because if you can't enjoy these times, when are you going to enjoy supporting Wrexham? Let's be honest.
Have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea, calm down, and just watch what's unfolding in front of you. They're not going to pass it forward because John in row D yells at them to pass it forward. Andy,
You say
agree with that?
you say have a cup of tea, Reece. Sorry for interrupting. You say have a cup of tea, but I had a cup of coffee and a Kit Kat yesterday from the tech end. Have a guess how much it was for that combo?
$5.70.
No, lower.
480.
When people go
480
above,
is spot on, Liam.
Yeah.
480. I mean,
I have a bugbear about how much tea costs in football grounds.
Tea is losing. Yeah, that was a coffee though, to be fair.
A tea should be £1, right? What are you putting into that? You're putting a tea bag and you're putting some hot water and a bit of milk.
Andy, it's the overheads. It's the overheads. They've got to heat. They've got to heat the place.
And they run out of Yorkies. It was a scandal.
Oh, guess what? And also, sorry, while we're on moans about catering, the queue was so big for all the kiosks that I gave up going to get a packet of Rolos at half time. But my mate Doc sorted me out and got me one because he was already in the queue. So yeah, cheers to him for that special delivery.
Did he give you his last Rolo? Did he give you the entire packet?
Entire packet. So what a top man he is.
Good friend,
Right,
that. Good friend.
Let's stop getting derailed. Let's talk quickly while we're talking about fan reaction. Jay Rodriguez, Andy. There's people are really unhappy, aren't they, about how he started. I mean, what do you make of how he's played, and what do you make of sort of the reaction there's been to him, I suppose?
Is it a lack of effort? No, I don't think so. I think he does put himself about a little bit. I think he hasn't quite found the right position for himself. And what I mean by that is he seems to be in a halfway house at the moment where he's a little bit between the midfield and the attack. And I'd like him really alongside Sam Smith. I still think there's some pace in him. I still think there's a lot of good touches in the guy. You can tell he's a quality player. To say he's not asked, and a lot of people have said that on social media, I don't agree. I just don't think it's really clicked for him yet. Like, look, I keep saying this, but striker, you need to come in and you need to start well. And I don't think he's particularly started well, but neither did Jack Marriott when he first came in, and it took a little while for him, and he needs to get like 1 or 2 goals, and his confidence will start to go through him. And then I think you'll find you've got a player with a bit of class about him. I still think, to be honest, I think he's probably next season going to be the Fletcher role, where he'll come on for the last 20, 25 minutes and add a touch of class if needed. I don't know if he's really got maybe not the energy at 35 to keep starting and keep trying to influence a game obviously for 70 minutes, because Parky won't make a change before that. So I'm not writing him off. I'm not happy. I don't think he's been brilliant, but I'm not writing him off. I still think there's a lot there. If you think about the games he's played, like even the first game against Crawley, he had a great chance. He didn't quite convert it. Yesterday, he had a good chance and he didn't quite convert it. I think one of those goes in and you see a different player.
Do you think if the team listened to some fans and just passed it forward more, he would be scoring?
Passed it forward. Oh, that's the PG2. That's Liam's. That's Liam directing play. Like he's some sort of football championship manager. Yeah.
And booing. Yeah, fine. Tim, sorry, I'm being facetious. Tim, Jay Rodriguez.
Oh, are you? I get that. Yeah.
What was that? Sorry.
Jay Rodriguez, you got any thoughts on maybe sticking with him? Because I noticed that there was a certain tweet over the weekend as well, wasn't there, about someone who's not in the team?
Well, yeah. Look, I think whichever way you look at it now, we already know that Parky wants the Smith and Rodriguez to be the new Mullin and Palmer. It's as clear as day. It's as clear as day. Has it worked yet? Not really. Smith is the shoe-in for a starting striker all the time. We know that. Price tag or not, he offers that. Probably offers what we've seen from Mullin in previous seasons, that he'll just harass and harry. Yeah. He's a hard runner, and he's got the pace still intact, doesn't he? You know, he's got a bit more youth on his side. He's still got that pace in abundance, and technically he's very, very, very good. And the Rodriguez thing is weird. You always, when you look at the strikers, you always want a little bit more from them, especially if they're not scoring. But then you look at all of our strikers in that very, very large striker pool. None of them have really pulled up any trees all season. Let's be perfectly honest about it. So you can't then hone in on one striker and use him as the scapegoat already. He's been here less than 2 months, and we're like, yeah, he's shit, he's rubbish, he's coming in for a final payday. He could have quite happily gone. No doubt, he probably could have gone at a lower end championship team if he really wanted to.
But this is the way that fans like Andy operate, Tim. You can't read them, unfortunately.
He builds them up and knocks them down.
Oh, no, it's an expectation thing. It's an expectation thing. People, because he's played for England. I know, albeit only once, but he's played for England. He's played in the Premier League. They're thinking when he comes in, they're going to get all things to all men. I mean, it doesn't quite work like that. And I think Tim's right, because that midfield doesn't create a huge amount of chances for a striker. Where we do create chances is we create them from the wings, and that's a little, and it's hard to get in and maybe finish a few of those.
I think he's trying too hard as well, because he pulled his shot woefully wide yesterday when he probably could have fed Smith in, which would have been the preferred option. But he's desperate to get off the mark. I think he showed quite a few nice touches about him. His hold-up play is pretty decent as well. So I just don't know why we're just going, oh yeah, this guy who's played virtually all his career at a higher level is shit. How can you make that assumption so soon? The reason people are making that assumption so soon is because they're aligning him, specifically him, with like a drop in overall performance or form. And you can't afford to do that. It's unfair. I know we've sort of maybe put a little bit of criticism on Arthur and stuff in recent weeks, but you've got to put criticism on players and management with a degree of measured justification. You can't just go, he is shit, he's not good enough, let's bomb him out and bring Mullin and Palmer back in because it's tried and tested way. The club and where we want to be have moved on at astronomical rate of knots. We can't keep living in the past. It pains me to say it, but that's the fact of the matter. And I think Rodriguez, it's not for the want of trying. You know, he had one hacked off the line the other week. He'll get goals. He'll get goals for us, but people need to start exercising a little bit more degree of patience with some of these players.
All right, put it a bit differently. Do you think he should be 10 yards forward than where he is at the moment? Because there was a lot of times I was looking at him yesterday thinking, you're in midfield, mate.
But he has to
false
though.
nine,
Players
isn't he?
have to. Players have to in our team in order to get the ball. I think that's what the problem is. You know, people keep going on about strikers, but we talk about gilt-edged chances, but they're actually very few and far between. I think, you know, they're not relying on the wide balls.
We had 5 good chances, 5-6 good chances yesterday.
One fell to O'Connor, who's a defender. Another one fell to O'Connell, who people seem to getting confused in PG2. It's very difficult to have 2 Irish players there in defence. But yeah, I mean that says it though. You know, two of the best chances fell to defenders, so you can't really bank on that as much. I just think all this focus on the strikers. Is it any coincidence that we've got this huge ruck of strikers with decent pedigree between them all, and none of them are scoring? You know, it's got to be about more than just them, I think.
Interesting points. Let's move on very quickly. Tim touched on it. Ryan Longman. I said last week he'd be the first choice right back. Is it his shirt to lose now, do you think, with Barney coming off the bench at the moment? Liam?
Yeah, I really liked what I saw of him yesterday. He offers a bit more in that he can play, you know, like sort of facing his own half, whereas Barnett likes to be always facing forward type of thing. And if he can't, he comes inside, whereas, you know, he's got a bit more about his play, I think. And he was also did quite well defensively. I like the look of his strength. So I think for me, it's his place to lose at the minute, as long as he continues in that same vein of form.
Andy, do you
Playing
have
left
thoughts?
wing back. Playing left wing back. Put Barnett and him in. Ravan, I quite like him. I think he's done better since he's come in, but I just want him to take his man on. There seems to be a reluctance when he gets the ball to really bomb forward and actually commit his man. And I don't understand why. I don't know if it's an academy thing or sort of like, you know, just don't lose the ball. But he seems to want to check back and pass inside rather than really commit someone. And so I don't think Longman, you'll get that from Longman. If I was re-engineering the side, I would probably put Longman on left wing back, and I'd put Barnett back in, because I think Barnett's quality, and I think he's been brilliant this season.
What I did notice with Ravan, just to expand on your point slightly, was if he's engaged with a defender at close quarters, he'll go at him. He'll go at him. If it's like, you know, a couple of meters away, he'll have a go. He'll just try and burst the pace and break it. But if he's presented with a marker from 10 yards away from him, that's when he turns back. He doesn't go at them then. It's weird. It's like if there's turf in front of him, he's not interested in attacking it. It's weird. That I don't know what it is. Like, he backs himself in kind of one-on-one battles at close quarters. But if there's grass in front of him, he's not interested. It's weird, because we've seen that the potential is there. He's finally shown a bit of it in a long season, and yeah. But I think you're right. I think it'd be good to have Longman and Barnett on the wings, because that is a lot of pace, and it is a lot of crosses into the box, isn't it? For Rodriguez to break his duck, it's coming.
What about there's a note in the agenda here about the worst ever chant at the Cae Ras. Tim, what was it that's upset you?
Oh, that made me laugh.
No, that's Gilpin's thing. I wouldn't say it's the worst ever. Anything about football in the library is dog shit. That should never ever be sung. It's fucking rubbish. I mean, how many football fans go to a library anyway? Not many. I'm gonna put that out there and assume not many. But yeah, the Bolton fans are singing, "Have you ever played in Europe? Have you fuck?" And everybody like burst out laughing in unison. Go, clearly they have not had a little Wikipedia search of Wrexham
It's
FC.
all right to sing that at Rotherham away, isn't it? And you quite happily can do that. but you can't
But
do it at Wrexham or any of the Welsh clubs.
the retort from the tech end was, have you ever played in Porto before? Because it was
Have you
quality.
ever
So,
beaten Porto?
yeah, have you ever beaten? Yeah, that was it. But it was funny. It was a little bit of comedy drama amongst all the high drama on the pitch. So that was funny. But yeah, go on then. Let's have worst ever chance. Like, anything football in the library used to do my head in, and still does to this day. What else? Just the obvious ones, isn't it? There's always like a
Where were
stock
you
pool.
when you were shit?
That's the most
Yeah.
backhanded compliment of a chant ever.
What?
Every fan base that chants that to us, so basically is saying that we're great now. Thanks. So we'll take it.
Why did Bolton call themselves Wanky Wanderers? Did you hear them sing that? Oh, wanky, wanky.
Yeah, it's weird,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Each their
I
own.
don't know. Yeah,
Each to their
pretty
own.
poor.
Right,
pretty
Mr.
poor.
Switzerland.
Any other business? Any other business before we move on?
The only thing I would like just about the game and probably the games before it is, are Parky subs making us weaker? And should we make them all in one go, or should we sort of? I mean, if you're an opposing manager at the moment, you know exactly what's going to happen. So 65, 70 minutes, he's going to make 2 or 3 subs. And he's going to take the front 2 off. He's going to bring a new front 2 on. And he's going to take off one of the wing backs maybe, and maybe a midfielder. And you just know that's going to happen. Is that Parky being predictable, or is that him thinking, right, we're going to wear these guys down for 17 minutes, then we're going to bring on some fresh legs?
It's a tricky one. I think one of the few genuine frustrations I have had sometimes with the coaching staff is I do feel that I think it's not as bad as it was, but there was a real reluctance to make any changes at one stage at all until sort of like 85 minutes. It's not, as you say, it's not that bad anymore, but it has become quite predictable again, as you say. So I don't know what the answer is, but I would like to see a bit more variety, I think. And
Got 5 subs. You can play with 5 subs now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's stop talking about subs.
Yeah, shut up, Andy. Okay. Congratulations to Wrexham women who won again. So 2 fantastic results this week, fresh from beating Swansea City. Also now won 3-1 today, sorry, against TNS. And it means that they are in the top 4, which means they're obviously there as it stands above Swansea. So in contention for the championship because of the playoff design. So that's fantastic news, and hopefully that continues. So happy days. And both sides pushing for maybe not championship, but certainly for top end of the table anyway, and some honours. But time now to move on to everyone's second favourite feature, of the podcast, which is the Randall Roundup.
What's the first favourite?
YouTube, if you want to.
Are we having that today?
Yeah, of course. That'll just come later, just when you're not least expecting it. Okay,
That's you going on Google. So first off this week we have cut price kits. So not sure people saw it on Saturday, but Rob and Ryan did a typically humorous video urging people to get their kits now because running a football club is costing them a lot of money. I think maybe some fans of other clubs miss the humour, because I saw someone posting, God, things are getting tough at Wrexham now, aren't they?
No, people missed the humour. You're kidding. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
And then they went and bought a shirt. So fucking great, yeah.
But my thinking on this is, do we think we're going to see some kit designs pretty damn soon off the back of that?
Let's ask our kit man.
Well, well, again, going back to pushing the newsletter, I did put it in the latest newsletter that we have noticed in recent weeks about knocking off a bit of money on the shirts, and then all of a sudden 50% off, and I think that extended to a bit of the training gear as well, from what I can recall. So I would not at all be surprised if we start seeing a bit of early kit action, ideally, because I think that they delayed it quite a bit last year, and people just want them for the holidays and stuff, and a lot of people weren't getting them until shortly before the season started. So I would not at all be surprised see them see the light of day sooner rather than later.
What colours? What colours do you think, Tim? I mean, we've done the gold, we've done the black twice.
Oh,
Are we moving away from black now?
yeah, I think so. I think obviously that's a long time coming for a black kit, and having two in a row is. I think you've had three in a row, it becomes overkill, doesn't it? So I think I would like to see us go back to a bit of tradition, bit of yellow. We haven't had yellow under the new regime, and we haven't really had a traditional green. We had the sort of Philly Eagles green, didn't we, first season of the ownership, but we've never had like a traditionally
lighter green.
Yeah, like the sort of the last time we had a really decent green kit was probably 12 years ago, I want to say, when we beat Kiddie in the playoffs. That sort of Adidas green long sleeve that Mozza and stuff wore. So yeah, I'd like to see that, but you never know in this, they'll have Macron no doubt on board again to come up with a bespoke kit. Be interesting to see what they come up with. Always interesting to see what they come with on the home design, because they've done the dragon scale thing now. They've done the sublimated dragons. What else are they going to pop up with? Let's go daffodil yellow, considering it's St. David's Day yesterday. We'll go with that. Or leek green.
Right. Quick straw poll. Should I get the red kit? Because I've not had a red kit for a couple of seasons. I always tend to buy the away ones because I just think they're a bit more sort of lively. So I've got the black one this season. I've got the gold. Should I make it a full set and go for a half slice red? Is it good?
I think
Depends how many people subscribe to the newsletter.
I think you should get it tattooed on your body.
Forehead?
So that you can no, just get the shirt tattooed on your body so it looks like you're wearing it all the time, and then you won't need to buy it. It just comes in useful.
That actually has happened. Not a Wrexham fan, but I think it might have been a Boca Juniors fan or something that actually had the kit tattooed on their body. It's just fucking outstanding work. Yeah, that is some serious commitment to your team. But get the red shirt. When it first came out, I hated it. I pillared it in the newsletter, and I've now got 3 versions of that kit already.
3? How have you got 3?
Oh, my weight fluctuates, right? So I've got the short sleeve.
Was one aspirational?
I've got the short sleeve. I've got the long sleeve. Then obviously started drinking again, so I put on like a stone and a bit, and it's like, you know what Macron kits are like, as great as they've been in recent years. Their size and they're all it's an Italian company. They're designed for skinny Italian men who chain smoke and drink 10 coffees a day. So so I ended up getting like a bigger size as well, just for that sort of baggy-ish effect. So I've got 2 long sleeves, 1 short.
The oversized look is in.
It is. Get a triple XL to go with your man bun hairdo, Andy. It'd be amazing. Do it.
Cody J. Rodriguez.
Right. Other news-wise, we've got everyone rallying behind Andy Cannon. I think Parky. I watched a bit of match.
Everyone except Poshcast.
The podcast that we made,
we made them famous. So everyone getting behind Andy Cannon, and Humphrey Carr has bought him a PlayStation. What number are we on now? 5, I think.
Yeah.
So that is pretty damn good. But I watched a bit of Matchday Live after I got home yesterday, just to see Parky's comments. And he said 9 months is sort of like the baseline expectation for him to be back. So
that in the newsletter. AI said that in the newsletter.
AI. Yeah, well that'll add another subscriber on, so that's always good.
AI could have said that in 1 sentence instead of 12 paragraphs.
There's a newsletter to fill. You don't do that. And then just on another an article I did this week that got quite a bit of interest was looking at free agents who we could possibly bring in off
You
the
did
back.
that, did you? Did you do the Hendrick stuff?
Yes, that was me. That was yours truly. Yeah. Picking out why do you hate the suggestions? Did you love them, Andy?
I thought it was quite interesting. There was a lot of people there I didn't know were on free agents.
So I'll give you a quick rundown. So
I will say yes or no. So
Jeff Hendrick.
Okay, Jeff Hendrick. I'm going to say no because it will take him too long to get up to speed because he hasn't had a club since August.
Can't have a
I'd rather have Jimi Hendrix next.
Jake Livermore.
Is he still? I was going to say alive. Then is he still playing?
He hasn't officially retired, so
okay. Neither is Mickey Thomas, but you know.
Joe Morrell.
Yes, I'd do that.
He's been training with Portsmouth. This one's a bit out there. Cheku Kuyate.
What? Chiate, the former Newcastle.
What?
Former Crystal Palace.
Why did you turn into Peter Sellers from the Pink Panther then? What?
The
Kato
most
going to be jumping out of a wardrobe at me.
Oh, is that something?
I'm basically picking out all the injured old players you might notice, but
Well,
in
that's
terms
what
of
we need. We need some more age and we need some more injury.
yeah, but that was
Anyone else?
no,
Reece, stop it.
that was your lot. That was your lot.
Out
But
of all those, I would go with Joe Morrell. I think we should just. I think. I mean, he's a good player. It's just
He's up for it.
Is he past his injuries? Tim, you've seen more of Joe Morrell.
I have, and he's a good player, but I genuinely don't feel there's any room for him in the current squad. I just think what we've got is good. You're taking a big gamble on somebody who hasn't played any first team action for months and months and months and months.
Morrell's more defensive mid, actually, when you think about it, isn't he? And I think we're quite well stocked there. We just need that player who can actually join the attack, and maybe it might mean that Jay Rodriguez isn't standing where the midfield are, because you've got a player who can take the ball on and maybe sort of break the lines a little bit.
Yeah, that's most of my news for this week, by the way. So tune in this time next week. And my bit is prepared, unlike Reese's, who's just been Googling away in the background.
Well, give us your YouTube if you want to.
Okay. It's time for everyone's favourite feature in Fearless in Devotion, YouTube, if you want to.
What's the play on words with it? I was lost on me.
Well, Margaret Thatcher famously said, "You turn if you want to," and it has absolutely no relevance to anything. It's just I thought it was just quite funny.
Because the fact you've just mentioned her name means we've now been cancelled, or
I just thought of it on the spot because I'm just that kind of creative genius, and I've just run with it. So the comment from last week that I enjoyed the most was from our friends at the Eat More Chips podcast, who said, "Thanks for the mention. If we get there, the flag will be there." Well, we're not going to get there to the final in Wembley, that is, so the flag will not be there. But thanks anyway. Moving on.
That was your thing. There was no better comment than that.
Well, there were a couple of racy comments actually, but we're
racist. I said racist.
Not racist. Racy.
Yeah.
Racy.
Does your other half know about those, Reese?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
Also, Reese, can I just point out one thing?
Yes.
It looks like you're putting a lot more weight on the back of that barbell. Are you just adding extra weight every time you come in for the podcast, so people think that you're lifting a lot more?
I should have done that.
Look at that. That's like free.
It represents my weight gain since I've become a father. So
it's like a scale, is it?
The extra stone I put on in the first 10 months. So yeah, I wish that was the case, but I am incredibly strong. Thanks for asking.
I would pay good money to see Reese get going at the sight of Parky in a suit. That was my comment of the week.
How would you get going?
That was the comment. That was the comment. I would pay good money to see Reese get going.
Anyway, I missed last week's. So who picked what in terms of what you'd wear as manager? Just remind the great British public, including me, who picked what.
So I went. I think I went.
Andy's was totally insane. Can I tell you what Andy's was, right? Because I feel like this was glossed over last week because it was ridiculous. He said he would wear a shirt and tie with a tracksuit top over it, with tracksuit bottoms and smart shoes. Wasn't it?
That's like
it's like
no. Sorry. No, it wasn't. It was
that's like you've been summoned to court.
No,
smart trousers.
I said you would wear smart trousers, smart shoe with football.
Yeah, smart trousers with football boots, and then trackies up top because what are you going to go on telly? So why is the bit that's not going to be seen smart?
Okay, it does sound.
Sorry.
All right, okay.
That's what Andy said. Liam, I can't remember what you.
I wasn't on last week.
Let's have ours.
Oh yeah.
Let's pick ours.
Said, yeah, go for it.
Go on then.
Go on, Liam. You can go first. I'm thinking.
I'm basically just going to take inspiration from Dean Saunders when he always used to wear a lovely cardie. Oh, just a lovely cardie with a nice clean white shirt, smart trousers and shoes. I just thought he always looked magnificent. He talked a lot of crap, but he looked great. So
Would you also wear a cap with the longest brim in fucking history?
This is Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions. I don't know if you knew.
I'd wear a coordinated top and bottoms because I wore a bit of co-ord this week, and I very rarely do that. And one of my work colleagues said I look like an Albanian gangster, so I thought I'll take that look onto the picture of me, and go for that. So yeah, grey co-ord, with I don't know, some nice Vans slip-ons. I think checkboard Vans, just to sort of contain a bit of street cred from Algeria, from Albania.
All right. I would take inspiration from Hugh Hefner and just wear a dressing gown.
Just a dressing gown.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Peterborough. Let's get on with it though, because we didn't want to go to Wembley anyway, did we? So it was good.
Did we? Did we?
It was a good thing.
Come on, did we? All right. Okay. Tim, did you want to go to Wembley?
I genuinely could have taken either way. If we'd have got there, great. But genuinely, a lot of people that exited the ground on Wednesday, including me, was like, oh, well, never mind. If we go up next year, we won't even need to be in this competition. So whatever. It's one of those things, to be honest. And yeah, genuinely not fussed. Not fussed. We're going away instead, a much more cheaper day out.
Liam, did you want to go?
I may or may not have booked a hotel at halftime.
Were you the guy? Someone said that they were like in front of someone in the race course on Wednesday, and they booked their hotel at halftime. Is that you?
I think there was quite a few of us by the sounds of it, because I mentioned it to someone behind me, and they go, "Yeah, so did I," or my mate did. So yeah,
oh, wow.
I think it was yeah. Well, we were cruising. The youngsters had us flying.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did want us to get there, but because I was in London that weekend anyway, so it was extraordinarily convenient for me. However, I'm not very upset at all.
You hate London, don't you, Reese?
I hate London.
Yeah.
Awful place.
It would have been a grand occasion, let's be honest, because
with
it being Birmingham, it would have been a big crowd.
The other thing we need to think about this is, if we do go up, and no one's saying that we are going to, it's incredibly difficult to get to Wembley.
Yeah,
again.
It is.
So you're probably not going to get to Wembley in the Championship anytime soon, unless you're in the playoff final, which I don't think we're going to.
But there's a lot of football clubs that have never been, right? And we've
somehow
we've somehow managed to go 4 times. Granted, most of those have ended up in disappointment, all bar one. So you kind of look back and go, well, whatever. And you almost kind of feel it might be Peterborough that'd be the first team to defend that trophy, so we'll not be surprised to see him beat them.
I'm supporting them. Yeah,
you're supporting Peterborough.
Yeah, I am actually.
Them. After their little bye video,
I just think I just can't get behind Birmingham. I just think it's financial doping.
They are arrogant, Birmingham.
Yeah,
Peterborough were giving it the big one to the quiet section. They were literally falling over the advertising hoardings with celebrating.
But that's the hallmark of a classless club, right? And I mean, people can slag Wrexham off as much as they want, Hollywood this, blah, blah, that. But I don't think there's ever been an occasion where we've defeated somebody and give it the big one. Not in that sense. Not where we really give it to somebody.
They get shouted down if they did that. They get shouted down.
They would. Well, it's kind of, we've got a brand to protect now, if you like, so that they know which side their bread is buttered on, And I just think there's other ways of doing it. And the fact that some of those Peterborough fans are more asked about beating us than they were at getting to Wembley tells you all you need to know.
Andy, you mentioned him. In the midnight hour, we scream Mo, Mo. What did you make of Mr. Farr's performance?
I thought he was great. I did. I mean, the goal was brilliant. It gave me a bit of confidence. Some of the touches in the second half. Remember that sort of turn he did by the left-hand side of the box. It was absolutely fantastic. He's something completely different to what we've got. And what I think he is a 6'2" striker who isn't a presence, and he's actually the small, skillful sort of player. Do you know what I mean by that? It's sort of it's like he doesn't know how big he is, and that's not really his game. He's not the big.
I don't know why they're so big.
He's like
a Partridge reference.
He's like Hector Sam, Carlos Edwards, and Dennis Lawrence all rolled into one.
Yeah, but bigger. but bigger. And I think there's something there that we do not have at the club. And I don't think many other people have that. And if that guy in the next 2 or 3 years can put all this together with his skill, with his size, with his presence, put a bit of work rate into it, I think we've got a massive player. And I think that's a big potential. And I think a lot of people saying he doesn't run for this, he doesn't run for that. Mo Fowl runs when he thinks he can get the ball.
For the right balls.
Yeah. And I think it's the same as sort of, I don't know, like a Balotelli or Ibrahimovic. He won't run for everything, but he'll run for the things he thinks he can get that he can make a difference of. And I don't think that's a problem.
He wouldn't chase a crisp packet, but he would chase a box.
But yesterday, if you put him on instead of maybe Jack Marriott, I think there might have been a different outcome. He would have certainly done something a little bit different than what we've been expecting.
Well,
go on.
If none of us know what he can do, then I'm pretty sure the opposition don't, do they? So he's a completely unknown quantity. And I see what you're saying about, in 2 or 3 years, Christ, we're not giving a seasoned Jay Rodriguez bloody 2 months and people are on his back. So I'll be amazed if he gets anything like that.
Well, we'll do enough to keep us interested. Hector did enough to keep us interested because we could see that he was so good. If he could actually put it all together, we'd have a player like no other. Hector can do that. Mo can do that. I think having that wild card in our squad is something to celebrate, not to absolutely slam.
Good goal as well, wasn't it? Good goal.
Yeah. Mo Fowl gets on the score
sheet.
Gets on the score sheet.
Don't make him the foul guy.
Hey.
I've just got the Mo scene from The Simpsons. Mo.
I'm feeling the music's gonna have to come back next week.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Can we start the Book of Mo?
The Book of Mo, it's happening.
Good. Okay,
It's
right.
happening.
Let's hurry up. We're going to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
Massive month for Wrexham coming up. There are some big old games coming up. Some huge away fixtures. Bit lucky that we've somehow come into some away form all of a sudden, and we've got, first of all, Huddersfield away Tuesday night this week. Large game. Andy, what are your thoughts?
I'd love a draw. I think they're coming in. I think they're coming into a bit. They beat Stevenage, and we didn't get anywhere near them when we went out there. So I'm a bit annoyingly worried about them. Out of all the people in that playoff places, they're the ones that worry me the most.
Okay. We've got, after that, Rotherham at home, Reading away, before, of course, the very big one, Wycombe away, and then Stockport at home, and Exeter away. I mean, I feel like it sounds obvious, but at the end of March, we're going to have a pretty good idea of whether we are going to be going up. Or do you think it's going to be just as tight? Are we going to be within a point or two of Wycombe anyway? Liam?
I think you're right. I think we will know by the end of this month who's going to do it, because it's pretty tough running, you have to say, looking at that list of teams.
No, you know what? It's a pretty tough next 6 games, and Wycombe have got an easy 4 or 5 games, but then it flips around.
Yeah, I mean, it's still on our hands is the best thing you can say about it. We've kept ourselves within 2 points of them, where at one stage a few weeks back you might not have expected that. So it's in our hands. It's just this weird thing of, we seem, well, on the face of it, to have sorted our away form out. Home form, struggling for a win at the moment. I think we're going to need to see a bit more. It's a strange one where no one seems to really be backing us. I mean, it's in the realms of the possible, but I think a lot's going to depend on those sort of games. The Wycombe game is the absolute clincher. If we get 3 points there, then that's absolutely massive. Yeah, I'm going to sit on the fence and say watch this space.
Tim, well, let's take a straw poll and let's start with you, Tim. Why not? It's the beginning of March. We're getting into the closing sort of run now. Will we overtake Wycombe?
Yes. Yes, we will, because we have a more experienced manager and he knows how to get the job done. We tend to finish seasons strongly under him. It's been proven. I see no reason why we can't do that again. Wycombe have done reasonably well considering they lost their manager. But it's going to unpick at the seams at some point. I feel I genuinely do. They're a good, they're really well organised team, very very well drilled. But I just think at some point they will hit a sticky patch, and if the way things are going, if it does end up coming, to that game where we can overtake them or whatever, it's going to be massive. So if you haven't got a ticket for Wycombe already, get it, because it's going to be a stonking 6-pointer, whichever way you look at it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Andy, you've been saying Wycombe are going to slip up since about November. When's it happening?
I actually think we'll overtake Wycombe. It's the other teams in the playoff that worry me. So I think maybe Huddersfield and Stockport might come through, and that's where we might be vulnerable. We've got a great opportunity to do this. It is in our own hands. We just have to go and make a statement win at the likes of Huddersfield, at the likes of Wycombe, and I think things become a lot more clear and easy for us. If we can do that, who knows? But we seem to have turned our away form on its head, and we do tend to do that under Parky. How many times have we had some sort of post-mortem, like December, January time, saying, well, the away form's not good enough. What can we do about it? And after that, Parky seems to turn it around, and he makes that away form count in a run-in, and the percentage stuff that he does seems to really work when we need it. So yeah.
Are you saying that when we draw with Rotherham next Saturday, we're going to have to do an emergency pod to spur them into action?
I will do that. I'll do that. Okay. We have to do one about home form. We have to say home form is absolute shit, and this is what we would. These are the 5 things we would do to change it around. Parky will listen and get the pearls of wisdom from me, and then he will turn it around and we'll go up.
Good stuff.
Why not?
We all need to be pulling in the same direction now. I'm going to stop short of this being some sort of clarion call, but we need to dispense with the idea of doing substitutions. We need to dispense with the idea of scapegoating players. We're chasing down second place at our first attempt back in League One and first time in 20 years. Come on, Bolton were playoffs playoff semi-finalists, I think, and they're like clambering to try and get into the playoffs. We've got a 10-point buffer between us and 7th, or wherever it is. That's crazy. And that's a testament to the management team and the players of that. The fact they've overachieved this season. So maybe we need to start showing a bit more faith.
And cut them some slack, and know that we just need to keep accumulating points. Home, way, doesn't matter. Just need to keep doing that.
Liam, will we continue to accumulate points and accumulate more points than Wycombe?
I think that Phil Parkinson is Zelensky and the racecourse crowd is Trump. Oh, no, gone now. I'm not going there. People keep saying Wycombe are going to slip up. They said it was going to happen after the transfer window. Said it was going to happen after they change manager. And I've just not seen it yet. So something would need to change for me to think that we're going to catch them up, whether it's our form really gets going both at home and on the road, or they finally make this predicted slip up. My head says that we won't go up, but my heart's still got a little bit of a... I've just seen the way we, like Tim said, the way we finished. Hang
on. You say Wycombe won't split up, right? Okay, so since...
Why don't you just kill Wycombe so much?
No. Why
don't you kiss them and then kill them?
Okay, full time. Okay, since 25th of January, Wycombe 0, Northampton 0. Wycombe 2, Barnsley 1. Barnsley had a man sent off. Cambridge 1, Wycombe 1. Crawley 1, Wycombe 1. Wycombe 2, Bristol Rovers, man sent off. Wycombe 0, Wigan 0. Birmingham 1, Wycombe 0. I mean, that's not brilliant form. That's more or less our form. I think they are.
You will never replace the Vidi printer. That's one thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not.
Yeah, what's that? Wycombe 2, Bristol Rovers, man sent off.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't think they're in.
And those are
form. They're not.
Those are facts. These are facts.
It's not, but like quick one before we kind of discuss a bit more on the Huddersfield stuff. Is it fair to say from everybody in here now, whichever way you look at it, whatever happens from here until the end of the season, you have to say you have to regard the season as being a successful
Yeah,
one.
it
It
is.
has to be.
It is. I've enjoyed it.
100%.
I've enjoyed it. They've done so much better. The only thing that's really sort of annoyed me is Birmingham are in the league, and it means that there's not 2 places available. There's only been 1.
If you took Birmingham out of the equation, it would be a cracking race at the top right now.
And I think
Really,
we'd
really
go
good.
up. I think nailed on we'd go up, but we can't do that because Birmingham are in it, and you don't know who's going to come down next season as well.
I think what I would say is get behind the boys if you're at the race course. Unless there's been a slightly subpar half, then really boo them off at half time. And if Parky makes a sub you don't like, make sure you shout some abuse as well, because then that will really get them going. Let's discuss Huddersfield in a bit more detail. So away Tuesday, Andy, you've already said that you take a draw. You think we're going to draw. Tim, big game, another big game. I mean, I feel like, it's March and we shouldn't still be saying this, but we're going from Bolton to Huddersfield. It's nice to be playing some good clubs, and Tuesday will be a proper atmosphere and a good test.
Well, I remember one of my work colleagues, a big Huddersfield fan, and I remember he was like, "Oh, Wrexham are going to cock up the National League again," and they were like in the Premier League or were fighting to get back in there, and all of a sudden, we're above Huddersfield in League One. That's how quickly things can change in the blink of an eye. So this is why it's important to enjoy these years and moments that we're having, because it can be snatched away in an instant. So I'm excited by it. I'll always refer to it as the McAlpine Stadium. That's always the way I've known it as. I don't know. It was the McAlpine, then it was the Galpalm. I've no idea what it's called. It's some crap sponsored.
It's usually called the University of something Stadium. They're all called that for a bit.
Yeah, but
it's called
stadium.
The John Smith Stadium, which is
it the John Smith's?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Beautiful. Yeah, great ground. Oldish now.
Are you going?
But I'm going. Yeah, it'd be good. It'll be a good one. Before I give my prediction for it, we've had some comments.
Have you got these?
Yeah. Just remind me, because
Matt Shaw from He Takes That Chance podcast has said, if it helps, we've had 30 players injured this season. All of them are limping, and we're playing like bellends. And then he counters that with, and we've not scored at home in 2025.
Oh,
that is remarkable, to be fair.
That is remarkable. So it means they're definitely going to score against us on Tuesday. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm looking forward to it.
How can you be fifth and you haven't scored at home in 2025? That's mad.
I mean, how many have they played? I mean,
in fairness, they've been playing like bellends, though, so I think that gives you.
And they've had everybody injured, it would seem. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I don't think I've ever seen us win at Huddersfield. I've been there a few times. I don't think I've seen us win, so I think we will win. So let me know when you're ready for predictions, and we'll hit it up.
All right, actually, Huddersfield. Oh, I'm going to do the Huddersfield 0.
They've played 5 games at home, and they've scored. And they've
Go on, Vidi Prince.
No, that's all. That's all.
I mean, I'd take a 0-0. I'll take a 0-0 on Tuesday. I mean, you can't just lose that. I mean, it doesn't matter about accumulating points. Just fucking don't lose that game.
And in that spirit, I'm going to predict a 0-0. Tim, you next.
I'm going to predict a 2-1 Wrexham win.
Statement win, I want.
Statement win. Yeah.
Liam.
I'm also going 2-1. I'm going to stick with that.
Wow.
Straight down the middle. A couple of goals predictions and 2 for the 2-1s. Love it. 50-50.
Andy, your face is like the thumbnail for the video now.
All right.
He's about to go, what? Again? What?
You remember that shot cat? He goes... I am that cat. I think it's going to be 1 each, and I think we're going to take the lead, and I think we're going to hang on, and then 79th minute they're going to equalise, and then we'll be hanging on completely until the end.
And the John Smith will erupt.
Yeah.
Huddersfield 1.
All right. Okay.
Minutes.
I'm sent off.
What about? Can we just mention Rotherham?
No. Yeah, we can. Okay, Rotherham home next Saturday. We've got to break this duck. Mid-table team. If you're not winning them, you don't deserve to go up automatic. So let's go 2-0 Wrexham.
Gonna go 2-0. I'm still gonna go 2-0.
Okay, Liam.
1-0. Ollie Rathbone spanks one in the 85th minute.
Oof. Timothy, wrap us up.
3-1, and Steve Evans to I don't know, get taken out by a slide tackle by James McLean, even though he's going to be a sub. Yeah, so something like that. 3-1, 3-1.
3-1. Thank you, as ever, to everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Remember to go to the Fat Ball, sign up for the Wrexham is the Name newsletter, listen to the podcast on YouTube, comment, like,
subscribe, tell us that you're fully behind the Book of Foul, and I will come up with something next week.
Yeah,
because that is a 50-50 split. Andy hates it. Reese likes it. Liam has got a poker face. He's neither here nor there. So I think we'll bring it back in the spirit of all things joyous.
Yeah, one last thing. We haven't done the Brian Flynn bit from the live night, but we might pop that out as like an extra. And can we thank the Grey Rhino Productions, wasn't it? Who
yes, Simon Grey Rhino.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. They did a fantastic job. We've had the footage back. It's brilliant. We just don't think it. I mean, because it's so timeless, I think it would be just a nice little bonus extra to give
like
you.
Sir Brian himself.
Yeah, and maybe when we don't have a match one week, we'll just pop that out, and I think you'll quite enjoy on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
If it's National Red Wine Week anytime soon, we should drop it in then, because that would be the best time to do it, because we all know that Flinny likes a few glasses, and he also likes to book an extra night stay at his digs on us without telling us, Brian.
Yeah.
I can't say
on that bombshell.
On that bombshell. Let's look at Andy's face. All right, time to go, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and speak to you next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.